Hello dear lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you viewers on how to sew this lovely pencil dress with a bridal satin. Now let's get started. Firstly, I placed my front pattern on a lining which I'm going to use for the style because I prefer to indicate the dart and style lines with the lining to get the shape right before adding the satin to it. And I also pin the pattern with the lining to hold it firm before cutting it out to get my desired style. I also added my stitching allowance to it so that after sewing I can have my accurate measurements without having any loss. After cutting the front, I'm now on the back side. The front and the back side of the dress have the same style lines, and also used the same method I did in the front with the back, which is cutting it on a lining and adding the seam allowance. Now I'm cutting the dart lines for the back and the front. So now that's how the front looks like and how the back also looks like. The next step is to cut a facing for stiffening. As you can see, I'm cutting the facing for both the front and the back. So now I'm applying a stiffening to the facing. I chose the hard stiff. Now the next step is to stitch the darts together for both the front and the back. After stitching, then serge or knitting it with a serger or a knitting machine. And I'm going to iron it clean for both the front and the back of the dress. After that, I placed both the front and back on a dummy to check if possible there's an extra allowance on it to drape for a perfect fitting. I noticed some excess allowance from the neckline to the armhole, so I draped it on a dummy. After draping, I stitched it, and I did it for both the back and the front. As for the back, I held a zipper line of 1¾ inches. So now that's how the front looks after draping it. That I ironed the satin neatly to remove any wrinkles in it. I used 2 yards of bridal satin for the style. After that, I placed it alongside the lining on a dummy and created my second style lines with pleats. As you can see in the video, I did it for both the front and the back of the dress. I held the pleats 1½ inches inside with 2 inches interval, then held it with pins throughout. I made it 4 pleats with 2 inches interval each. Held both the pleats from the end sides of the dress. Held a dart from the neckline downwards the waistline. I did it for both the front and the back. Next step is to tack the pleats to hold it firm for both the front and the back. So that's how the front looks after stitching the pleats and adding a facing to the front. So after that, I placed a facing to cover the front and stitched it, then add a bone to it. After that, I made a loop thread of 1½ inches with the satin and made loopholes for the back of the dress. I measured 5 inches before stitching or adding the loops to it. After that, I made a stitch of 1/2 inches according to the size of the bone I'm going to place for the back of the loop. So now that's how the back looks like with the loops and the bone. Then made a collar of 2 inches, then stitched 1/2 inch for the neck of the dress. This is the semi-final part of the dress. Then later attached a zipper to it. So that's how the fitting went. For the final part, I used these accessories for it. I used a glue gun for the fixing. As for the pleat in the front, I added a bone to it. I added a plastic bone to make it look firm. Thanks for watching my video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please click the notification button in case I post a video, and please comment in the comment section for any style or question. Thanks.